Welcome to UnCurated Conversations. I think I'll approach this differently. Why did I decide to do UnCurated Conversations? In all true honesty, I'm just fascinated by people. That's why I started this thing. I've just always been fascinated by the other person's story, where they come from, and also just testing my own prejudices, my own biases. I'm always amazed at how you look at someone and you formulate this idea about the person, and then you get to meet the person, and most of the times, in my experience, that picture that I painted prior to meeting the person and getting to sit down and chat to them is completely flipped on its head after I've spoken to the person. And so this led me to this journey to create a platform where I could invite guests to join me for a cup of coffee, and we just have a conversation. The guest could be someone I don't know, I've just met, someone I've known, a friend of mine, or someone that I would love to know and admire. Really, I'm not too stuck up on the person in terms of the type of guest. I just want to sit and have a conversation. In this last part of our 4-part series, we pick up where we left off with Jared being on the run after having stolen the money from the backpackers and the police case being opened. We also find Jared living on the streets for the first time, and we discuss the impact that had on his life, and also what it meant living on the street, the coping mechanisms and strategies to be able to survive that environment. Jared also gives us some insight as to what he used to survive and how he met the people that assisted him in his survival of that environment, and what that environment does to a person's self-dignity. We also look at the high prevalence of the different types of drugs that people who are living on the streets take, and why individuals find it very difficult to kick a drug habit, especially to a specific drug, why it's so difficult to just give it up. We also look at positive things that came out of Jared's experience. We look forward to what he's thinking about doing with his talent, with his music talent, with his writing talent, and we discuss how things can be better, So join me for this last episode, and then the next episode now will be the full episode of the entire interview with Jared. Over to Jared Kent. So you're staying with them now on the run, and cops are looking for you.
Cops are looking for me. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I can't even go outside. And when I did, everybody was following me. My paranoia was so high, so I wouldn't even want to go outside. Eventually, my mom called me, and she said, no, she sat down with the owner of the backpackers, and he's just going to withdraw the charges if we pay back the money. So they paid the money back, the charges were dropped. Very, very lucky. And then from there, I went onto the street. on the first time. Now I've hit the street. And oh boy, was I unprepared for that. There's a whole nother world. It's hard to talk about, but now I'd kind of given up at this point. I was quite suicidal. I didn't care if I lived or died. I put myself in situations where, something could happen, like, I'd walk on the edges of building or like bridges and cliffs. And it's like I'd walk across the road with my eyes closed, like the car speeding. I would do stupid stuff like that. And
at this time again, are you on crystal meth or is
a little bit, not really. Like when I had money and stuff like that, because I wasn't like committing any crime at them. I was just wondering. And then I'd met people on the street that kind of took me in. And they showed me the ropes a little bit, how to survive, what to do, what to not, places to avoid. There's a whole thing that you have to do. Like it's constant. You have to be alert, and you have to, and it's constant moving. It's exhausting.
Tell me about it.
I guess it strips you of your dignity, because now staying a few days on the road, it shows. Your clothes are a little bit dirty. Even if you try, you smell a little bit. It shows on you in the wear and tear, and then it breaks you down a bit. Well, for me, it broke me down quite a bit, And then I was like, let me just try the NGO, and I got into a shelter. And then I started working with a social worker. They gave me, I think it was 30 days free until I had to start paying or find a job. So I was like, okay. Then there was, a whole strict guidelines and rules there, to follow. Otherwise, they'd kick you out. They didn't give you warnings there. They were very hard hand, heavy-handed. The discipline, the rules didn't really make sense to me so much. I understand that rules are there, so there's order in this system, but it could be a lot different.
Like what type of rules?
I know, like there's a alarm or a bell that sounds for food, and you've got 2 minutes to get down to the dining hall and be seated for prayer. If you don't, then you don't get food, and they stand on that. They won't give you your food. So, and you have to leave the shelter for about like 7 in the morning and can come back at 4 o'clock. You've got no money, no traveling fare. So they get stuff from like Pick n Pay, all the extra food that they give out. And, you'd expect them to maybe give you like something for
the day.
For the day, yeah. They don't. And then you ask for it and they are so rude to you. It's like, you don't matter at all. You're literally just a ghost here with no rights whatsoever. And it breaks you down even more. Then you get people that are called hosts there, that are ex-addicts or ex-people from the street that now have responsibility and have keys, and they have the authority to lock you up, and they lock your doors at night. But they do it in a way that makes you feel like, they are enjoying this power, and a little bit of like sadistic vibes going on there, where they would do things like, they would lock you early in your room when you didn't have to.
When you say lock, what do you mean?
They lock the door, the main door in your room.
So at night or after eating or whatever?
Yeah, you can watch TV, but then by like, it's supposed to be 10 o'clock, they lock you away, and you come out at like 5:30. There is like a back room, a porch where you can smoke and stuff. There's like barbed wire and that. But
But in your room, I'm assuming there's a bathroom and.
Yeah, there's bath showers in there.
Okay. In your,
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe they wouldn't put hot water on. They wouldn't give us hot water for tea or coffee. And you're supposed to get like the leftover donuts and muffins at night, because there's like 50 bags of them they get, but they won't. They throw it away. They make you go and throw it out themselves. But the day before you ask, you're hungry now, because you get your set meals, but there's so much food you could, all the perishables are going to be rot, and they're really giving you like sell-by date food, which I'm grateful for, but and all the good stuff they do when they do get like shoes, clothes, cakes, all the nice stuff. The people that are like that have been working along, or the people that run the place have, they're like under their wing. They park the bucky at the back, and they offload it. Usually it's everyone that goes and offloads, or like a few people. And there's only one person. Then they take that to the main office and to deep root, and they lock it, and then we never see it again, including the clothes and the shoes. It's gone. So yeah.
Okay. Now I understand what you're saying.
And there's the people that work there are very miserable as well. So they, I didn't want to be there anymore.
Right.
So I ran away.
Okay.
And then I went on a big crystal meth binge, and I was friends with these two working girls, and her boyfriend, I was battling. I was having a bit of an episode of breakdown, like a hectic one.
Your anxiety,
yeah. And I was like, I had a knife in my hand, and I wanted to die. I didn't care anymore. I'd given up, And he calmed me down, and then he said, "Come with me," and took me to the bedroom. And he got a piece of foil out. And on that foil, he put a bit of powder on the foil. And he said, "Smoke it, hold it in as long as you can." So I did, and that was heroin. And that was it. That was the beginning of the end. And so I said, I like that. It brings me straight down. I don't have anxiety. I can go to sleep. I was like, now I've got a perfect combination. Now I can use crystal meth without having the negative side effects.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, it's amazing. So I started doing that every day, and then started doing crazy shit for it, stealing shit that I would never think about stealing, When I'm not on drugs, I don't think about taking $1. When I'm on drugs, I need to support my drug habit, and I can't beg, my people, my family know that I'm using drugs, and they will refuse to support that, which I fully believe in, because you are only, being part of the problem, instead of the solution. And at this point I was still in denial. I don't have a problem, I'm fine, I was selling a bit of drugs at the time with the girls, I was doing little bits and pieces, but now like the heroin started consuming me.
Mm-hmm.
I now formed a habit where if I don't smoke, I become sick.
Like as in, how do you feel?
It's your whole body, okay, first you get like nauseous, then your nose starts running uncontrollably. Your water just pours out. Your stomach cramps, you can't eat. It's the beginning stages. Then you have hot and cold flushes, but anything like I've never, I don't know how to describe it. Then you start sweating. Then your all your joints start burning. You feel like you're made of glass. Then you feel like you've got like sandpaper for skin. Everything you touch, you've got no taste, no smell. It feels like things are crawling in your skin. You have heart palpitations. You can't breathe properly sometimes. It comes and goes, and that lasts and you vomit. Then you have diarrhea as well. That lasts for about 7 days. No, that to me is still, I can handle that. It's what comes after the next that I can't handle. Then you can't sleep. Depending on your usage, anywhere from a month to 2 months, your sleeping pattern is so bad. Only time you can sleep is maybe for about 10 minutes after you've eaten or taken a hot shower, and then you don't sleep at all, unless you take sleeping tablets or whatever. You can't sleep. It's.
So how do you survive in that?
That's why with heroin you make a way to get more. Because of the fear of that withdrawal is so bad that you'll go through the pain and then stop it. But going to prison, you don't have a choice. So I feel like sometimes prison saved my life. It's got me clean off the heroin, and I'm still clean.
So, okay, sorry. So now you mentioned that the heroin addiction got you to do things that you'd never ever do.
Yeah.
I'm assuming then one of those things landed you into prison.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It did, yeah. So I've been arrested for various things, but
in South Africa now.
In South Africa, yeah. But it's all drug related. It's all because of drugs. You know, I've never committed a crime. Really, I mean, in the UK it was because of alcohol. Okay, Dubai, I don't really count that because it was a stupid decision. But you know, it's either alcohol or drug. It's drug related. You know, it's what it comes down to. You know, at first I was shoplifting a lot. You know, committing fraud. I was robbing tourists in a way, but not like with knives or anger. Like I was doing it more with manipulations. You know, and then I would go into backpackers and stuff like that. I'd stay there the night, and then I'd go back later, and then I'd go and steal whatever I could steal. Then I was manipulating my parents, my cousins, everybody. What I could do is get the drug. That's all you care about. You stop cleaning yourself. You stop eating. You stop caring. You have absolutely no. It takes your emotions away completely away. You don't care about anything at all, which is it's so scary because, you know, if you drive around a city or any like major cities in the world, you'll see it, you know. And somebody who's been on, you know, on heroin or whatever, you can tell them which is the heroin addicts and which is not, you know.
How can you tell?
You know, usually people, if they look at the homeless people, they can't differentiate, but you'll see a lot of some homeless people. They'll be standing there and they'll be like doing this, like nodding out, which, you know. People collecting cans to sell, so usually heroin addicts.
Why cans?
For scrap, for recycling aluminium. You know, so they're the ones usually people standing at the robots begging, or the ones that are on heroin. You know, anyone with major crystal meth drug areas are the ones that will be begging outside shops, wherever. You know, the ones that are like forceful and, you know, aggressive, and they're the ones that are probably withdrawing. Ones that use the children to feel pity for them. Those ones, yeah. Alcohol doesn't do that to you.
Right.
You know, this is something that there's nothing that you wouldn't do. You know.
So you're saying that in that moment, let's say that lady who's using that child, she is on heroin at that moment, so she doesn't even realize what she's doing at that moment, or is that?
Oh no, she realizes
that downer where it's going to be long nights of no sleeping. Is that the fear, so that she'll do anything to do?
It's more the fear of being sick, because also once you are withdrawing, especially on the first, you cannot move. You can't get up to go to the toilet. So a lot of people will soil themselves.
Right.
You have no drive for. I mean, you can get up, just there's no energy. It's such a horrible feeling. It's like your life force has been sucked out of you, and you don't care. You're like, it's alright. I'm quite happy here, and I'll die right here, and I'll be okay. And you accept that. You know, you're poisoning your body every day with a percentage of like 7% recover from heroin. You know, you're fighting against that. People already know. They're like, I'm not going to try, you know, because it's weird. It's crazy. But that lady, you know, she knows, but she's scared of that of the withdrawal, the initial one, because now maybe she still has enough humanity and enough responsibility to know that her child must eat, or maybe she gives it to the grandparents when she's done with the child for the day. She's probably spun a story about she's going to take her out, whatever, and then. You know, but now she doesn't want to be responsible for the child at night. So, yeah.
Okay. And so you land up in so you said you've been in prison a couple of times because of the drugs.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into all the prisons, but I think this, in terms of your last, because you mentioned that sometimes the best place for you was prison.
Yes.
I'm assuming that was also part of the it was a rehab. He was trying to say it was a drug rehab place.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Because every time that I've gone to prison, it's been at a point where I feel like this is it. I'm gonna die now. It's not gonna be long before I die. Not only have I given up spiritually, you know, in my heart, but physically it's starting to take a toll on me, you know. And I've always been pretty healthy and like a nice solid guy, you know, and like with a healthy appetite. I'm weighing 55 kgs now, you know. I'm looking terrible. I'm run down, and then I'll do something where I know that I'm like, you know, I'm gonna go and do something stupid, commit a crime, I'm going to go shoplift now, I'm going to do something like that where I know the risk, you know, it's probably going to get me caught, but I'm still going to do it anyway. But if I get away with it, then that's a bonus as well. Now I can still use, you know, so that's in your mind. You know, you accept the fact that you might get caught and go to jail for it, you know. Where other people would be like, that's the most irrational thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, how can you be happy to, you'd be okay to go to jail? Now, you know, and for anybody who's not using, I would say, you know, it's, you know, of course, you know, it's logical, you know, it's common sense. But I've been arrested at that time. It was almost like divine intervention. I don't know, call it what you will, but at a point where I don't know if I would have been alive if I'd still been outside. Now, and my sentences have been quite long, you know, not 60 days, not 90 days. It's been like, you know, a couple of years, 6 months, 12 months, you know, and I've come out stronger every time. Weighing 90 kgs, I've worked, I'm feeling good, I've worked programs inside, I've tried to make change, and I'm feeling good, you know, positive, but it's my family that aren't positive, they're scared. Now I've got no foundation to come out to, and I'm terrified, you know. I've built myself up in here, but now what do I do when I come outside? There's no system in place for, you know, there are, you know, for reoffenders, if you're serving 25 years for murder and you get granted day parole, that's different because you're working directly with social workers that put you in places and jobs and whatnot and reintegrate you into society. With a common offender, someone who's drug related and economic crimes like shoplifting and fraud and all that, there's no system in place for you. It's still working on the old apartheid regime. You know, it's all paperwork. There's nothing. You know, there's no computers. There's nothing digitalized there at all. You know what I mean? They still tell you on a clipboard. You know, I mean, it's crazy. It's there. It's the way that the environment is made there to break a person. It's just correctional facilities, but it corrects nothing. I mean, it depends on you as a person, but I mean, you know, we're working with like a regular person who is, you know, looks at the environment and sees what it is, from the color of the walls to the smell to the sound of food. It's enough to drive somebody insane, you know. But you feel good when you get out, and now anxiety is hitting me hard because I don't want to go use. I want to go somewhere safe. I want to rebuild. Now, you know, I don't want. I see myself dying on the street. It's not something I want. You know. The good parts of me are, you know, can consume me to being a whole good part. And I want to give back. I want to right the wrongs I've done. I want to change other people's lives. I want to do something worthwhile. I want to give back while I still can. You know, and you know, all these things in my head that I want to do, and I don't know how to put them down and you know, put into action. And then I get outside and you're being released. All of a sudden you're in jail, and then you're on the street. It's a weird feeling. It's crazy. Now you got money in your pocket, and you got no direction. You've spoken to people, they don't want you there. Or that you can come past and, you know, get some food and some clothes.
People less in your family.
Yeah. Now I've spoken to social workers inside as well. Where can I go? And their only answer is, you know, first of all, it's family. Second of all is go to a shelter. There are halfway houses, but I mean, their waiting list can be anything up to a year. You know, there's very limited programs or things put in place for that, you know. Unless you can walk into a job, but still you need a cash flow so you can put a roof over your head, you know. And a lot of shelters nowadays are based on you have to go and detox before you can get accepted in there, because they are basing that everybody is now using drugs.
Everyone is drug
yeah,
addicts, right?
So you cannot get in straight away. So now you're still on the street, you know, and there's nothing more terrifying than being on the street and then still being sober and then having to deal with it. It's like number one triggers for relapses, you know. So a lot of ODs happen as well. So, you know, every time I've come out of prison, except for the last 2 times, I've relapsed and I've used, and it's exactly the same thing. It takes like 2 or 3 days, and you're back on. You're looking terrible again. You've lost the weight. You look like you have never left the street, and you're in the same routine. And drug addicts their routine is just so simple and so repetitive. It's the same thing every day.
What is that?
You know, you wake up, scratch and bins, dig and bins, beg, try and get money for your fix. get a fix, go look for more food. But but they follow the same path, you know, like water buffalo or something. That's the same thing. And they go to the places where they know maybe a church gives out sandwiches here, or you know, wherever they can, and then they sell everything that's been blessed upon them. They sell, you know.
Oh, so they sell this. So if I give you, I'm not saying you, but I'm saying if I give you a shirt or shoes.
I can't say that. I can't generalize. That's wrong of me. I'm mostly talking about heroin addicts. No, there are people that do need it and they will take it. You know, it's just it's hard, so hard to tell which ones are not. You know,
Sure.
But then you got to go on the basis of that this person's telling you the truth and they need it.
That's it.
You know,
Yes.
and it's what your heart tells you. Yeah, I can't say that's wrong of me to say that, but yeah, it's you get so used to meeting a certain type of person as well on the street. You know, people are very are heartless, emotionless, very selfish. It's a survival thing, you know, and they'll take whatever they want. They will rob the people that have got nothing.
Right.
You know, so
was that your experience? Like the first time that you were on the streets, was that your experience?
Yeah, it happened to me a couple of times before I became wiser and learned. Yeah.
How did you get wiser? In what ways did you become wiser and correct yourself? How did you do that?
Well, I made friends with the older guys, gangsters, in the number and in the actual gangs. People that had been there a long time, and quiet people, you know. I'll meet them at soup kitchens, shelters, wherever, you know, or at the drug dealers. And you do every now and again you get a gem in between. You know, you get people that aren't too far gone that still have you know, some humanity in there. And it's funny, you'll get people that share their absolute loss with you, their blanket with you, you know, and they don't expect anything in return at all. You know, they don't want. Whereas you've been conditioned to believe that there's nothing. It's not something for nothing. There's always a price on it.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. So, you know, I learned a lot from them to survive, and then I went on my own and I just survived by myself, you know, and I felt that was the only way to be by myself, you know.
And you mentioned early on that one of the tactics is constantly moving.
Yeah, constantly moving, that's right.
What do you mean by that?
Never make a habit of, you know, for your routine, doing the same thing over and over, going to the same places. There are a lot of eyes on the street. People take notice of this, and you know, and especially people that look to rob and to do other things. There's a lot of evil on the street as well. A lot of people that like to do bad things to people.
Things to fellow homeless people.
Yes.
Okay, not necessarily bad. I mean, yes, there are bad people that want to do bad things to just normal citizens.
Yeah, but there are also a type of people out there that prey on homeless people as well. And I'm not talking about homeless people. People in cars and stuff that do some things and
like
take
what?
away. You know, they might entice them with money, food, a place to stay, get in a car. You know, maybe it might be sexual favors when it'll turn into something completely different. You know, where the person has now lost his, you know, any kind of self-worth he has, and he'll do things for money. You know, and that now turns into complete. You won't come back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you get quite a few sick people out there. I mean, I've been approached by a few people, and your senses inside of you. You know, I listen to them. They can usually tell. You know, this is a bad energy. This is a bad person. Don't.
Right.
You know, and usually they'll come all nice. You know, just you know. But I've survived like that, and you know, I haven't lost hope in myself. I felt I've still got something to give.
Sure.
You know, I have a desire, a burn I want to be proud of something. I want to finish something. I want to look back and say, you know what, if I could help at least one person, or you know, if I start something, I want to finish it. You know what I want my mom to be happy. You know, I don't want to worry about her son. You know, I want other people to look and be like, you know what, even though I'm stuck in the most hopeless situation at the moment because I didn't think I was ever going to get out, and I'm still working my way out. But the hardest steps have been taken. It's now maintaining that. It's you know, like tonight I'm going to go see my cousin for dinner, and I haven't been there. I haven't been there for a long time. I get to see my baby cousin. You know, he's about 4 years old. So you know, that to me is a big thing. It's a door opening again. You know, and I don't want to ruin that. I want that to keep going. You know, and if somebody who's lost absolutely no hope at all, you know, believe me, I shouldn't be alive, whether through suicide or drug overdose or whatever the case. I shouldn't, but I am. And that to me is you know, you come to a point in your life when you've had enough. You're so sick and tired of being tired, you know, sick and tired of having nothing. And yeah, you know, this yin and yang, light and dark. It's, you know, I truly believe if you don't believe in something, go to church, believe in yourself.
Right.
Find something, a hobby, a passion, run with it. It's, you know, it doesn't matter what it is, giving back to the community, volunteering, you know, keep yourself busy. Find it,
busy,
you know, it's small goals, it's starting something and finishing it. And I believe that, like, you know, so you can see that I've done something. You know, to other people may not be big, but to you it's, you know, it's productive. It's literally, because you're not used to finishing anything. You're always negative, and people looking down on you, and you know, they look at you like you either don't exist, you're a ghost, or you're a piece of shit, to be honest with you, you know. And eventually that takes its toll on you. So the fringes of society are never going to get better with you know, preconceived judgments and ideas of how people are. You know, I definitely added to my choices in the path that I was down, you know, but, you know, it doesn't have to be the only road, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I never ever thought I would ever get out, you know. I still have my struggles every now and again, you know, with, you know, especially like mentally, you know. When my dad passed away 2 years ago.
Okay.
And there was so much unsaid, unfinished. He never apologized to me, but I wanted to tell him I forgave him, I'm moving on. You know, I love you. You know, you're still my father. And yeah, I never got to do that, so.
I mean, in terms of social services here in South Africa, I mean, social workers and people that want psychologists and stuff like that. Are there any government services that are available to?
Yeah, there are, in terms, like, I mean, that's what they say on paper, but if you go to social development town, they give you the runaround, they make you wait in queues for hours, and they tell you come back tomorrow, or go to this place, and then when you get there, they tell you go to this place, and they send you to the shelter, and then the shelter must go, and then, or you must go to a day hospital and, you know, see the psychologist, but the psychologist can't really refer you to any, like, long treatment or halfway house, or, so it doesn't work, you know, and then people give up because they don't know what to do, you know.
What do you think? What do you think could work? Because there's a problem out there. Clearly,
there is
and
a massive problem, you know. And there's the complaining about it. And then look at COVID-19 with the moving the people to Strandfontein,
right,
up and coming, and people didn't have a choice. Law enforcement then would forcibly put them on a bus, and then move them there, and then barricade them in there, you know. They say for their own protection, but there's no social distancing in there at all. You know what I mean? It was just like a refugee camp.
Were you one of those guys?
No, I managed to avoid it.
Where were you?
I was between Rondebosch, Mowbray, Observatory, and Cape Town. I was always on the move. Also, my cousins were helping me, so I'd go there every day.
Okay.
You know, they'd give me some food and shower and some money in that.
Right.
So I was lucky in that point, but there were a few times when they tried to take me, and the army and all of that being there, but I managed to escape and run, because to me, I just felt it didn't feel good. I didn't want to be like a sheep led or lambs slaughtered, you know, and I knew I wouldn't have coped well in that environment, regardless of what they promised you. They promised you 3 meals and a hot shower, and I was like, is that all it takes? You know, is that our value? Is that what we're gonna sell ourselves for? You know, like, you know, and I mean, I'd be grateful for that, but I mean, at the same time, they were putting people there so they could control them. Then it wasn't that there was no hot water, it was only 2 meals a day, and the portions were small, there was no medication, people getting sick. You know, it was just on, and then they had that riots and people trying to break out.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I
Cool.
you know.
And you also mentioned that you do some songwriting and play some instruments. And I think there's also from on your side when you mentioned things to do and hobbies and stuff like that. You know, I mean, and I don't know if these are out there where you could maybe get into a church and maybe play some music there for them and sort of try and get yourself.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking aloud.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Because I mean that was you mentioned that one of your passions is drums, right?
Yeah.
And songwriting.
Yeah.